here's my idea for using persuasion to pay for the damage in Texas. So right now there are, I assume, there are a number of phone numbers and websites where you can go and you can pay money to help the relief victims, and that's all great. But if you want to get a lot of money, you need persuasion, and here's what I do. Create a website that has 2 portals for giving money and keeps a running total of which one has given the most. So there's 2 choices. Let's say one of them is left and the other is right. Maybe it's Democrat or Republican, maybe it's anti-Trump or Trump. And you keep a running total so that people can see how generous and good the 2 sides are. Now, this is actually a little trickier or a little more clever than it sounds on first read. Keep in mind that the people covering the flood are looking for stories that are somebody did something differently that was cool, that will make a difference. And by the way, if it had something to do with politics and the president, bonus, right? Because what's better than a story about President Trump and a flood? All right, it's the 2 things you have to cover. So automatically this idea has all the oxygen it needs, because every news site would want to report about the website collecting money, and you have to identify as either left or right or Republican or Democrat or anti-Trumper or Trumper, something like that. Any one of those would work. And well, the reason I don't do it is because you need some credibility. I mean, it would just be better if it came from the Red Cross or somebody at least as credible. But here's what makes this magic. All right. On the surface, it's a clever idea. So I think it gets an A plus just for being kind of clever. But there's this weird thing happening now, like right now, in the world, or at least in the United States world, in the zeitgeist. Let me see if you feel it, all right? See if you feel the zeitgeist. You feel the country has been torn apart by all this divisions, you know, the marchers and the Antifa and the racists and the right wing and blah, blah, blah. And no matter how much you identify with one side or the other, part of you just wants it to end. Don't you? Like, it was fun for a while, and I don't mean fun in a good way, but at least it was interesting and provocative and different. You know, maybe it woke us up a little bit. But now the country is just spring-loaded to somehow get past all this division, because we want to. I mean, we want to. We want that more than we want revolution, right? We want to get past it. And then this flood hits. And it brings out the best in everybody. You know, we're watching this for days. And have you seen anybody say, you know, let's go save only the white people or only the black people or only any other kind of people? You know, there's nobody out there risking their life who sees anything except, you know, neighbors and Americans. So, except Antifa. So there's a mood that you can all feel. We're all so tired. We're looking for a trap door to get us out of the divisions, to, you know, just make us feel good again about, you know, just our fellow Americans. And this flood happens. Huge tragedy, but as tragedies do, they bring out the best in people. And at the same time, you need to diffuse this gigantic division, right? Even if it just goes back to normal Democrats and Republicans squabbling with each other, that would be a big improvement over where we are right now. So everybody wants what I call the fake because. They want something to laugh at, something to just slap you in the face and just say, okay, change now. It's okay now. Here's your fake because. It's not a real reason. It's just a reason. That's because you were ready, so you didn't need a real reason. And so this website, hypothetically, that would allow people to vote Democrat or Republican would be like a little magnet where you would transform the hate energy into this weird competition of who could be better. So instead of competing by, beating each other with clubs and mace and trying to say clever things on Twitter, we could just compete to see who's more generous, to see who can, help other Americans in the time of a great need, and it kind of takes the piss out of the hate, because it would be funny. It would be funny to make people compete for niceness after competing for who sucks the most. I mean, if you think about it, what we've seen recently is this rapid race to the bottom to see who could be the worst humans in the world, and competition was stiff. But the hurricane, tragic as it is, changes the zeitgeist. It changes how people just think about the country and their place in it. So it's an opportunity to do something that you just couldn't do in a normal time. And this might be a way to do it. Maybe just compete to see who can give the most to the flood victims.